Now, let's give out some candy. At least I think it's that. Because now we're going to connect this tradition of the crowns to our present day observing of the Shabbat and to something that we can learn about the liturgy of the prayers of Shabbat, which is just really, really great. So, it says that they were given 2 crowns. It says that after the sin of the golden calf, they were given away. This giving up of the crowns is clearly indicated in Rashi, because after the serving of the calf, it says that the people did not place upon them their edyom is the word, and it's translated, it means also a radiation of light. And Rashi there says that this is one of the crowns that they received when they said Na'aseh v'nishma. In a later verse, shortly after that, Moshe tells them each man should remove his crown edyoi. And it comes out from Rashi's commentary that this is the second crown. Rashi makes reference in his commentary in the Parsha of Kitisa to both crowns. On the other hand, it says when Moshe there would come, it would be Karan or Panav, that the light of his face radiated and shined. And it's explained that this is a reference to Moshe having taken all these lights. So his radiation, his aura was even greater and more intense because, as the Talmud says, all the lights, all the crowns, the radiance of the Shekhinah, the divine presence, were then given to Moshe. Now we said that when Mashiach comes, we're going to get the crowns back. The sin of the golden calf will have been corrected, and we again receive these crowns. Where do we get them from? Well, the Torah says they were given to Moshe. Moshe took all the crowns. So it was seen that when Mashiach comes, Moshe will give the crowns back to us. So did Moshe receive the crowns as a permanent gift? No. He was the guardian of the crowns. That's one point. Now the Arizal, the holy Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, the great Kabbalist of Safed, writes the following. When Moshe received the Torah, he was given a special gift of 1,000 lights. 1,000 in Hebrew is Aleph. It's also represented by the letter Aleph, which is the same pronunciation, almost. And indeed, although most of the Torah is written with medium-sized letters, there is in the Chronicles, Divrei Hayamim, Adam is written with a big Aleph. And this, says the Arizal, Rabbi Luria, is an allusion to the 1,000 special lights that Moshe received when he was given the Torah. At the time that the Jewish people sinned, God says to Moshe, Lech reid migdulatcha. Lech reid, go down to the bottom, back to the bottom of the mountain. Your people are sinning. The Talmud says, why descend? Descend from your greatness. Moshe didn't sin. However, the violation regarding the golden calf of the Jewish people, because a Jewish leader is connected internally and essentially to his followers, it caused a descent spiritually within Moshe as well. So explains the Arizal. At this point, these 1,000 lights were no longer given to Moshe. He was only left with 1,000th of them. And this is alluded to in the book of Vayikra, which means that God called to Moshe. It says Vayikra, but the Aleph is a small one. And this is an allusion to how after the sin of the golden calf, Moshe was only left with 1,000th of these lights. Now, Rabbi Luria explains, every Shabbat, God gives back the 1,000 lights to Moshe. So he no longer has these 1,000 lights. They were taken away from him. At the same time, he was given as a deposit, so to speak, the 2 crowns of Na'aseh v'nishma that the Jewish people had to give up through the sin. Now, what does Moses do? Moses, when he gets on Shabbat, 1,000 lights back, he doesn't feel the need to have all those crowns. So he gives the crowns of Na'aseh and Nishma, this radiance of the divine presence, back to the Jewish people every Shabbat. So every Shabbat we get back these two crowns, like special radiance of the Shekhinah. And this explains the liturgy. It says in the Shabbat day liturgy, because the giving of the Torah was on Shabbat morning, Yismach Moshe bechalko. Moses will rejoice in his portion. And the Arizal explains that it means that when Moshe receives on Shabbat the 1,000 lights of revelation that he was originally given by the giving of the Torah, and which were taken back by the sin of the golden calf, and now he gets them on loan, so to speak, on the day of Shabbat. He's happy with that. And since he's rejoicing in his portion of 1,000 lights, he can then return the crowns of Naaseh v'Nishma to the Jewish people. Now let's add one more little flower to this, just for perfect beauty. We say on Shabbat we get back the crowns. The Talmud also says when Mashiach comes, we'll get them back permanently. Now it makes sense that we get them on Shabbat. What is Shabbat? Me'ein olam haba. In Hebrew it means Shabbat. Every Shabbat is a foretaste of the world to come. The 6 days of the week are the 6 millennia, and the 7th day is the world to come. And hence, every Shabbat, just as when Mashiach will come, we will get back the crowns of Naaseh and Nishma, so too every Shabbat, which is like the world to come, like the days of the Messiah, we get them on loan. May those days come very, very soon. We will all return to the land of Israel, to the city of Jerusalem, and to the Holy Temple as one prosperous nation.